Hello, everyone. I am Nikita Ross, your host of the Fearless Female Podcast. Today, I'm here with a really amazing person. I know y'all probably say you think everybody's amazing. No, this is my partner in crime, the lady behind the Fearless Female logo, the lady behind the branding, my website, my marketing. Yes, my brand manager. Yes, Christy Staples.
Hello, thank you for having me today. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have her here, y'all. I've been waiting to get her here, and she was like, I'm ready. She's been having a few projects, that she's been working on. And also, she's been making everybody else look so amazing and awesome. So today is her day to shine. I'm so happy to have you here, Christy.
Thank you.
So let's talk about getting lunch.
Yes.
Getting lunch. That's the name of her business. That's also part of the name of her newest project.
Yes.
And she wants to get you lunch in life, business, and area of your life, right? And getting lunch. What is getting lunch? How did you come up with that name?
Well, Get Lunch came about as I was helping a friend to start her nonprofit. And she told me, she said, Christy, you need to turn this into a business. I was like, what business? What am I doing? She said, you're helping people to lunch. And I was like, okay, what is that? And then we just kind of started talking about it, discussing it, and I realized what I was actually doing. And I said, that's it, Get Lunch. That's the name of my business. And so from that day, that was over 10 years ago, that I've been having this business. I've been having that name, and it's kind of changed a little bit here, and then I have to pivot, but that's what Get Launched is. And pretty much Get Launched in a nutshell is taking action. It's all about taking action. And my prayer has always been, God, don't ever let somebody leave my space and my presence not desiring to take action. Universal, business, life, taking action. We have to act in both areas.
Oh, and that's a bold thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bold thing to say because, people leave excited, but then do they act? You know what I mean?
Correct.
And so how do you hold them accountable or follow up?
Well, here's the thing. I designed the ideal Launchpad, to help them to execute and to follow up, because that was my idea. I would start off real strong and I would start a project and I wouldn't finish it. Or I would have a great idea and then I would try to grab something to write it down and I wouldn't have anything, and I would stop myself from allowing the creative juices to flow. And then I said, no, we got to come up with a whole systematic way to do this. And that's why I came up with the ideal Launchpad.
So we're in this techie society, right? Where everybody does everything on these laptops and iPads and phones. And I'm a big person who uses notes on my phone. I am. But at the same time, I'm still a doodler.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have a real calendar. I put things in my phone. I have to have a real calendar. I have to scribble. I have to write.
Mm-hmm.
How are you? Because I know you're a techie person.
I am. I'm a very techie person when it comes to making lists and stuff like that. But when it comes to bigger projects, I like to get on the wall, draw it out.
Brainstorming.
I like to. I'm a brainstormer, a big vision person. And so now I've realized that when it comes to big vision stuff, write it out, draw it out, map it out so you can see it and write it down. And then I can come back to the execution and implementation process. That's more of my techie side. And the aesthetics. What does it look like? How am I going to make all these systems talk? But big idea, I got to draw it out. It's something about taking that pen and that marker, drawing on the wall, connecting the dots, making the circles. It's something about it that makes it seen before you can see it.
Yes, mind mapping.
Mind mapping,
That's,
exactly.
that's what it is.
Exactly.
Mind mapping is mapping it out. You saw one little circle, then you got a triangle over here. You got a line over there. It's like this mind mapping. It's like, okay, once you write it out, all these juices start flowing and going all these different places.
Right. And that's what it's all about, because everything is interconnected. All of us are interconnected. Even before you became a client, I was always drawn to you. Now, I didn't know that we were going to work together at this capacity or this level of intimacy, but I was always drawn to you because you were doing great things, and I'm attracted to other ambitious women that have momentum. And so confidence and momentum is attractive. People like to jump on board. And so before we started getting together on this level, I was always attracted to you. So when we quite naturally came together and hooked up, it was natural because I had already following you. You had been following me, and it was just divine. And so we're all interconnected some type of way. Yeah. I need you. You need me.
I definitely need you.
I definitely need you. So it's all interconnected. So if you think that your idea is big enough just for your two hands to do it, then you're thinking too small. God didn't give you that. You gave it to yourself. But when God gives you a vision, it's bigger than your two hands. You have to have other people to help you. You have to have a team.
Come on, vision.
Yeah, vision is big. It's big.
Last night I went to go see Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she had a thing, Refuse to Lose. And I was sitting with my best friend Erica, and she was like, Joel Osteen say we pray too small.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lord, let me pass this class. No, why can't I ace it?
Right. Right. Right.
Lord, give me a house. Lord, let me buy a house. Like, we limit ourselves. So you're right. If you have a vision that is big enough for you to do everything, for you to be the eyes, the ears, and all the hands for it, it isn't big enough.
No, it's not. It's not. And that's all you. But when it's God, it's bigger, it's better, and he gives you the resources. He gives you everything that you need.
So what should we expect out of this amazing resource?
So the Idea Launchpad it's my baby. It's my biggest accomplishment right now because it signifies me finishing something. Okay. The way that I came up with the Idea Launchpad is I was really getting ready to decorate my office, right? And so I'm going to go through this stack of mail. So when I get to it, I was like, this is not mail. These are all the ideas that I had gathered from sticky notes, from napkins, from loose leaf paper, from binders. And I called myself putting them together in one spot to come back to them. Never came back to them. And so I just was sitting there. I was like, Krista, this is millions of dollars that you're sitting on your ideas. God gave me enough grace that the ideas were still valid to this day. And the Idea Launchpad came about because initially I was going to stick them in another manila folder. And I was like, no. That's still not going to make them come to life. How do I make them come to life? So that's when I started going through that ideation process. Now, this is when my entrepreneurship and my, my little techie side / my researcher came in. What is the ideation process, and how do I go from idea to execution? And so that's why I came up with the 4 steps that actually take you from idea to put it on paper to actual execution with a plan of action. So I walk you through the 4 steps. The book is enough for you to put 12 ideas and flush them out. So that's one idea per month. That's more than enough to keep you busy for a year. And so that's what you can expect from an Idea Launchpad. I give you examples in the beginning. I tell you how to use it. And then also if you buy it online from my website, it comes with a training and then also another template that you can use. So we're giving you a training. We're giving you a tool and template.
Come on, techie.
Yeah,
that's the techie side.
Yes.
I'm all about the hard copy. Let me see how this template online work, right?
Yeah. But you can print out.
So when you go online, where do they go online in order to purchase?
They can go to my website at www.getlaunched today.com and order a copy.
Okay. So, Christy, you said this has been your biggest accomplishment thus far.
Yes.
What has been one of your biggest challenges?
Oh, my biggest challenge has been, to be honest with you, is being too gifted and too talented. And
I always think that's a curse.
It is.
It is. Not because I have that. I don't have that issue. I'm not too gifted or too talented. But when I see people who are so gifted and so talented, they're almost like octopuses.
Yeah.
They don't know which way to go.
Exactly.
Should I bake a cake? Should I braid hair? Should I do waxing? Should I be a manager? It's like when they're good, should I be a graphic designer? It's like when you're good at so many things, but that's what creative beings are.
Yeah.
Creative beings are normally artsy people, and they're so good at so many different things.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't like to be boxed in.
Yeah, they do. But the reality, the practical side of it, you do have to be boxed into something if you want to be successful. Now, if you want to stay on that starving artist track, by all means, try everything, do it all at one time. But if you want to really be successful, then you got to niche down. You got to just focus on one thing. And so the Idea Launchpad has been my one thing because I know that I want to scale my business, and I know that I was kind of at a point where I could no longer trade time for money because now time is limited because I have more clients. And so the way that you scale, first thing, create digital products. And so this is one of my digital physical products. And so that's how I can get more of Christy in the world without Christy having to physically show up. And the challenge of being multi-talented is, like you just said, but taking it one step further, you allow people to pull on you from what they need. And so you have one person who's pulling on that baker in you, one person who's pulling on the papers, that person that can wallpaper. You pull, and they just pull you in these different areas. And so you're so stretched that you no longer know who you are because you've allowed people to define you by their needs. Not what you like to do, but their needs. And so that's been the biggest challenge, is not to say no to, oh, I'm not going to do that. Because deep down inside, I don't really like doing it. I know how to do it, but I don't really like it. And so to say no to a client, to say no to my mom, or to say no to a friend that I'm like, I don't really want to do it. I can do it, but I really don't want to because that's not really in my wheelhouse. However, I'm gifted enough to do it. that's been the biggest challenge, is to say no and to scale down and to really, one little pocket, one box, stay in this lane, and then it'll open up wide for the freeway for you. That's the biggest challenge.
So the one lane is the get lunch, the Launchpad.
Yes.
So focusing on that. So you did new branding, personal branding.
I did.
So she's been making everybody else look amazing for all this time. And she finally came from behind the curtains.
I did.
The producer, the director, the lighting. Now she gets to be the star of the show.
Yes.
How does that feel? Being always, a stage hand or behind the scenes type person. How does it feel now to know that you're the forefront? You're the face of something.
It feels awkward at times because I want to shrink back and go behind the scenes. It's so easy to, I always say I'm a great number 2 person. Like, I can make you look real good. And then when it comes to my stuff, I'm like, oh, that's enough. But I can dream big for you when I want to dream big for myself. And so when I realized that, I was like, okay, well, we got to stop this because you are who you are. You're 6'4", so God made you to be as big as you are, and with this big, beautiful personality, people need to know you. They need to really know you.
They do, and it's wealth of knowledge.
Yes.
When I say she's so resourceful,
Very.
she's extremely resourceful. Like, you can say, what about, she be like, cut and paste, copy, here you go. Check this out, I found this online. Or look at that. Like, she's extremely resourceful, but more than anything, she's a great listener.
Right.
And I think that's what makes you so amazing. Anybody who's great with research and that kind of stuff, taking the time to fall back. And I think a lot of times when a person is number one and is the star of the show, number one struggle with listening.
I can see that.
Number ones normally struggle with listening.
I can see that.
And number twos are really great at listening, i.e. yourself and Jamaica, because your job is to listen to what your number one needs.
Exactly.
And number one is so accustomed to speaking, and delivering. Number one has to strengthen their listening abilities.
Very true.
Very
true. Very true.
Have you ever sat at a table with a whole lot of number ones? It's like they fighting to talk. If you ever see a table filled with a lot of those, because they're so used to being the ones who have the wealth of knowledge and the wealth of information, and they normally are the ones who carry the conversation.
Correct. They're vision casters. And so vision casters are able to cast a vision to the person that's going to catch it and is going to implement it and execute it for them.
But you're amazing at what you do. But I'm happy that God has stretched you and put you in uncomfortable and unfamiliar territory, because that shows that you're growing.
Yes.
Anytime we're in a place where we're comfortable and it's easy and it's effortless, we're stagnant.
Very.
So that means you're launching to the next level.
And it's scary because there's no chart for it. There's no written plan that says, hey, this is going to happen. Since I've launched the book a week ago on Friday, I've gotten 3 speaking engagements. I've gotten podcast interviews. I've gotten opportunity to go to Lone Star and set up and be a vendor. I mean, it's just been bananas how the stuff is coming out the woodworks. And I credit it and I say, I finally gave God something to work with. I'm no longer burying my talents. I'm giving it to him, back to him, so he can multiply it. And that's what he's doing. He's honoring his word. And so I had to give him something to work with and stop burying my talents. So no longer am I going to bury my talents. No longer am I going to be Houston's best kept secret anymore. No, Christy Staples is here.
All right, y'all. Then don't get in my way. No, I'm just joking. No, I mean, Christy is amazing and phenomenal. And I remember one day we went to a venue viewing together.
Yes.
And, Christy found a venue. She knew all the info. She was talking to the lady. And the lady said, well, how many Instagram followers do you have? And me, being a spokesperson that I am, I said, does it really, really matter? I said, because I have way more followers than she does. And trust me, she's more valuable than I am when it comes to resources and connectivity, because you know so many people. From your different lines of work, working with different people.
Yes.
So even though you're not visible, your connectivity, your web is so huge. And so, just knowing that, because you are a secret weapon. And it's not about the numbers.
Right.
It's all about the quality. And you give quality product, quality information. So Christy Staples, y'all don't sleep on her.
And you know what? To follow up, when I posted about that venue, that one post had like over 100 and some comments. It took them almost 2 days to return the phone calls and emails from the people that had reached out to them about that venue. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Yeah. And just because, and how did you find out about that place?
Research online.
Exactly. I mean, we were just talking, and she like, it was raining that day.
It
I
was,
remember it was
yeah.
a morning. It was raining. It was midweek.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, let's drive out here.
Yeah. And I was like, come on, let's go. And
But
we
yeah, I mean, but just that's how resourceful she is. If there's a need, she's your solution.
went. Mm-hmm.
Like she is your solution. She's always trying to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
A problem solver, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be your next title, problem solver.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
No, but you really are.
That's
you
true.
really do like solve problems. Because a lot of times people are stuck
Mm-hmm.
because we feel like we don't have a solution.
Right.
We don't know what to do. What's next?
And then the thing that I like about the gift that God has given me is I can take something that's so huge that seems like a big mountain and bring it down to the most elementary parts into stuff that's obtainable that you can go out and take an action today, tomorrow, and immediately get some results. And so that takes the pressure off of you to see, oh, I got to go raise $1 million. You don't have to go raise $1 million today or tomorrow, but take those small steps of creating a list of 25 people or corporation that you want to work with that you can ask for money. Then next, do your sponsorship kit. What? Come up with the actual levels of sponsorship. And then next thing you know, you're on your road to $1 million. But if you just look at, I need to raise $1 million, you're not going to do anything because you're stifled.
Right. You
'Cause
give
don't
them
know
the
how to
plan.
act.
You give them the strategy.
Yeah.
So you have invested in so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me somebody who has invested in you as a teen, and tell me someone who has invested in you as a woman who was not related to you.
A teen. Who invested in me as a teen? Oh, there was this one teacher. She was my typing teacher, and she was also a Zeta. And she was the reason why I got into accounting in school. She allowed me to be her sponsored debutante. So I did the whole debutante ball and stuff when I was 16. Now, this is really unheard of in Mississippi, coming from the poorest educational school system. So the fact that we were on a college campus, Mississippi Valley State, I'm here, got the little crown and stuff, that was like
Major.
unheard of back then. I was a debutante in Mississippi. And so she poured into me as a teen. So she was the reason that I went to college for accounting and that I just picked it up real quickly. And then once I got to Houston, the female that poured into me was, of course, Pastor Mia. I served with her for 10 years. So I, know her very intimately, but then I also know the grace and poise that she has as a first lady, as a wife, as a mom, as a grandma, as a sister, as a friend. And so to see all facets of her, it's just been life-changing for me, because once I started serving, it just really changed the trajectory of my life, because I was exposed to so many different things on such a huge level so early. So this little country girl coming from Mississippi being exposed to big powerhouse preachers and singers and celebrities and just different things, I was just
Up close and personal.
Up close and personal. But it was never a situation where it just flowed.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like groupies or anything. It was just like, come on in. No, I don't have to come. No, come on in. Okay, I'll come in. So my motto with her has always been, I'd rather ask to come in than for you to tell me to step out. So I never overstepped my boundaries with her or with anybody that was connected with her. I would rather for them to ask me to come in than for them to tell me to get out. Position. It's all about positioning. That's what it's all about.
And exposure. And of course with Pastor Mia, but the first exposure was a debutante. It's nothing like somebody exposing you to some things that you never ever seen before or never thought you would do.
Correct.
It's nothing like exposure. Exposure is such an amazing thing. Exposure get us out of our box. Exposure get us out of our comfort zones. It takes us places. That's why I'm such a big fan of traveling. Not that you necessarily have to do it abroad.
Right.
I just think traveling within the United States is amazing, because every state is different.
It is.
Just you coming from Mississippi to Houston, I'm sure that was life changing within itself.
And when I tell you the way I came to Mississippi, nowadays I look at it and I just have to laugh. My next door neighbor from my grandparents had a pickup truck, a Silverado. My mom put all my stuff on the back of this Silverado, and we rode, 3 of us in a Silverado from Mississippi, 8 hours to Houston. They dropped me off and turned back around and went back. And my mom gave me $100 bill. And she was like, baby, this all I got, but I'm going to give it to you. When I tell you that $100 lasted me until my refund check came in that I didn't even know I was getting. And so now, looking back, that was the transition for me. That's how I got to Houston. The way I got discovered for my basketball scholarship was I was working in Memphis in the drive-thru at McDonald's. And the basketball coach from TSU, the women's basketball coach, came through and said, are you standing on something? I said, no. She said, "Are you that tall?" I said, "Yes." She was like, "Well, I'm the assistant coach at Texas Southern. I want to come see you play." I said, "Ma'am, don't worry about it. You ain't gonna come to Mississippi." She's like, "Yes, I will." She came to see me play, invited me out on a recruiting trip. That was it. I was sold. I said, "I'm going to Houston. Pack it up. I'm going."
I don't need to see any other schools. No more scouting.
You know what? Because everything else that was giving me scholarships for basketball were in Mississippi. And I had this overprotective mom. And so she could drive there in like 2 or 3 hours. But you going to hit the road for Houston, you got to think about it. I said, "Oh, no, I'm going to the big city." And she had a brother out here. So I had an uncle here. I was like, "Well, Uncle Junior's here." I said, "Let me go to Houston." And she was like, "No, you're not going." I said, "Grandma, you need to get your daughter because I'm leaving." And so Grandma talked to her. She's like, "Okay, I'm going to let you go." But that's how I got to Houston. So it's all about exposure because I was that type of child in Mississippi. Even though we didn't have much, I'm always looking for different things I could do because my mama said, "Look, you need to find you something to do in the summer." Once I got to like 8th grade, she said, "Because you're not going to sit around here on the porch and get pregnant." I said, "Okay." So I went to basketball camps. I went to UT Knoxville to a math and science program. I got exposed to a different level of kids. I went to Mississippi Valley State to Upward Bound. I was always involved in something in the summertime that got me out, that got me exposed. And then when I think back on it, in 3rd grade, I only went to school 4 days out of the week because we took a test in like 2nd grade. It was like, "Oh, she's gifted." So then I had this gifted class I went to. The gifted class took us to the planetarium. I learned about Jacques Cousteau. We used to cook pumpkin pancakes early. So I was already at 8 years old. I knew Mississippi was too small for me. And so I knew my vision was bigger than Mississippi. And the way that I did it when I was younger was reading. So I would read the encyclopedias. I would get on the computer. I was the first person to have a computer in my little area and stuff. So I would expose myself early. So me being naturally ambitious is because it started early when I was 8. My mom said I started reading when I was like 6 because I was nosy. I wanted to read the mail.
That's a good reason. That's a good reason.
I want to read the mail.
Whatever your motivation is, right?
I was nosy, but I wanted to read. So I knew to learn how to see what was going on with these.
You had to be in the know. You had to read.
I had to read.
In order to be in the know, you had to know how to read.
Yes.
TSU is what brought you to Houston. Basketball.
And then when I got here, I got an honor scholarship. So I went to undergrad completely scot-free. And that was the catapult. And then I got junior year, I was like, this basketball thing's not working out. So I took an internship with the U.S. Department of Treasury in their internal audit department. They hired me on right after school. So I didn't have to go through a transition period with trying to find a job in my field. I had one already because I was working one semester on, one semester off. So I've always had my next step ready. I've always been lunching, I guess. I've been lunching to the next step. And so now, quite naturally, getting lunch is a natural fit because I've been doing it all my life.
Always pre-gaming, getting ready for the next thing. And that's what it is, preparation.
It is.
Preparing. So what's next? What's next for Get Lunch?
So
we got the speaking engagements. We have these podcasts coming.
Yes.
We have the Get Lunch. We have all these workshops and vendor booths. So what's next?
So next is I need to get back to hosting my events. So I got to do that. That's next up. I got to get back. I did some events back in 2016 and 2015. Great success. And then you shy away from it because you used to number 2. So now I'm like, everybody wants to bring the Millionaires in the Making back, so I got to bring it back.
Millionaires in the Making.
Yes, I got to bring it back.
That title alone.
Yes, Millionaire. I got to bring it back.
So with your event, Millionaire in the Making, what did you have going on during your event?
So the first couple of events I had Arian Simone come out. She did a very... just an empowering piece about her story. And Jay Barnett was the spoken word artist. Another one we had Kamika Smith with the Boss Network. She came out and did our brunch. And so we've had mixers and we had brunches. And I got to get back to it.
You got to get back to it.
The people are asking for it. They're asking for it, so I got to get back to it.
You know, and that's the thing. You know, it's crazy. Somebody would think that you stopped because it wasn't successful.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But sometimes you do something and it's like, I did it. Been there, done it. It's almost like you check that box. But then people miss it and they keep asking about it. I'm sure that's one of the things. And it's like tugging at you like, oh, I've kind of been done with that. But when people keep asking you about it and you see that the demand is there, it make you do some things that you really thought were dead.
Right.
Or I've done it, I buried that, and bring it on back to life.
But then the other part of it, too, is that people don't always talk about the other side of success. What happens if it does go right? So I wasn't prepared for... it did go right. I wasn't prepared for that because I was always stuck in let's get to the event. I wasn't planning for What happens when we had to bring out tables? Like the last event we had at the Hess Club, we had to bring out tables because people had bought tickets from, we just went set up the night before and the next morning and people were like on site. We had to add 2 tables. Luckily, glad we had some extra tablecloths and stuff, but we had to add 2 tables. I'm like, oh, nobody else talks about what happens if it is a success. What's your next step? So that's where I was like, I got scared because I didn't know what to do next because it was so successful. So yeah.
Come on, millionaire in the making.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
So what do you do to relax, decompress, unwind?
Oh, I don't know how to do it right, to be honest with you. I try to get sleep now because I haven't been very well at getting a lot of rest. So I've been more napping, more sleeping. I'm getting more into working out. I actually want to do like a 5K, so I want to start running. And I'm really more focused on taking care of my body because I've been grinding and going for so long that I haven't properly come up with self-care techniques.
But that's, I think the health portion is a piece that entrepreneurs struggle with. And if you're not an entrepreneur, if you work for an entrepreneur who has a crazy schedule, crazy hours, and you like on call 24/7 like you're delivering a baby, right?
Right.
It's just a give and a take. It's like, do I go chase his bag or do I run on the treadmill? It's literally that. It's that. And most of the time we're chasing that bag.
Right.
We're not running on the treadmill. If I'm going to do any running, I'm running to the bank. I'm running to the bag.
Right.
And so then you find yourself 5 years later, you're super successful, but you're 50 pounds heavier. Your blood pressure is high.
Right.
Like, you can really sit down with some entrepreneurs. A lot of them, they'll tell you, ooh, you know, that's a part that we pull away. Even myself. That's like number 4 on my list. And that's in my good days. So right now it's number 14.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's never, it's rare that it's one.
Right. But if you look at all the successful millionaires and billionaires, the first 2-3 hours in the morning, they're working out.
That's how they start their day.
Yeah.
It's all about their routine.
Yeah. Any high achieving individual, they do their workout in the morning. And if they don't, they're going to end their day with it. So it's there no matter where it's at. But any high successful, high achievement individual, they're going to work out. And so we just have to switch it. And I've gotten to the point where I realize now that if I don't take on some business or I don't take on a client, I'm not missing out on anything because I know who I want to service. I know who I work best with. And all money ain't good money. And all clients are not going to be great clients. The ones that are not, they teach you if you're listening. If not, you're going to keep on running to that same type of client until you get that lesson, until you tighten up whatever you need to tighten up. But it's a must that we just take care of our bodies because it does no good to have all this money if you can't spend it. Or if you spend on pills and doctor's appointments and surgeries and, you know.
True. All of that.
All that stuff. I'd rather spend on vitamins.
My daddy always say, your health is your wealth.
It is.
He always say, I don't care how wealthy you are, your health is your wealth.
It is.
Because all you need is one illness, one terminally illness to knock you out and knock you off your feet. And certain illnesses don't have a respect of person.
No, they don't.
You know what I mean?
No, they don't.
So that is so important. I'm working on this health portion myself. It's like my Achilles heel. That's the thing that I struggle with the most. And I struggle with it the most because I've always been naturally small. So it's never, I can always eat what I want, do what I want. But now genetics is setting in and high blood pressure and hypertension runs in my family. So now it's not even about the physique now. Now it's about
genes.
Exactly.
The genes.
That's what it's about. Well, thank you so much, Christy, for sharing. Is there anything you want to say to the guests before you leave?
Well, I just want to tell you guys that no matter where you are, what you're doing, you have space to get launched. You have space to like rebrand, relaunch your life. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to start an idea. So take those ideas off the shelf and work out a plan. Get your idea Launchpad and go to work. It's time to work. It's time to stop talking about it. It's time to work. And you will see the reward.
You will.
You will see the reward.
Thank you so much, Christy. Until next time. Bye.